But I agree with Honorable Diapia Kubi when he says the monetization of our politics is sending all kinds of characters into our legislative chamber. On the other hand, let me say something that maybe Andy Apiokobi wouldn't agree with me, but it's very characteristic of NPP politicians to be boisterous. When they argue, the political language and their behavior doesn't show a honorable behavior orientation. Most of the arguments tend to be sheer sophistry. And when it's not sheer sophistry, it becomes what sociologists call petitio principii. That is dodging the question and interposing lies as an answer. So far, this vetting, hello?
Yes, I'm listening. Please go ahead.
So far as this vetting is concerned, I think the NPP has cooperated with the NDC in many ways, like helping President Mahama to get his team ready within the time frame that he gave in the party's manifesto. They have been cooperative there because under normal circumstances, the nomination of a person will have to go to the public. And a few days later, you will receive petitions against a particular nominee and so on and so forth. On that score, they have. But Afenyo-Markin's behavior, excuse me to say, he is having a very tough case of cognitive dissonance.
Why?
Cognitive dissonance, in social psychological terms, says that when your cognitive elements appear to conflict, you are compelled to restore consonance by either eliminating or devaluing one of the elements that you believe is easy. And that is how Afenyo-Markin has been behaving. First, I don't think he has realized that his party is in the minority. So his language is very, very boisterous. Incredibly enough, he will be the first to say, I'm a gentleman, I'm reasonable, and that kind of thing. And yet, his behavior doesn't correspond to the rhetoric that he wants the public to see or public to hear. Let me give you one historical test case involving me, J.H. Mensah, and Kwamna Battles.
Okay.
In 2008, when Rawlings appointed me Deputy Minister of Defense, J.H. Mensah wrote to the then chairman of the Appointments Committee, Ken Jirasa, that Jirasa must subpoena my personal confidential file from the University of Cape Coast. Ken asked him why. He said he just want my file to be subpoenaed. He was a member of the appointment committee. He couldn't have the decency to confront me with any allegation during my vetting session because he left, and when he was going, he said, you people go ahead and vet him. I've already voted against him. That's not a honorable behavior. You don't know me. You wanted my personal file. It wasn't given to you, but you have made up your mind that you vote against me. That's not the behavior of a parliamentarian. Kwamna Battles, on the floor of the House, which I couldn't go because I have not been confirmed yet, stood up to say I am very insulting, and I went and insulted Justice Annan at the castle. And Justice Annan never had an office at the castle. And later on, Justice Annan told me, Tony, I'm sorry, but as a speaker, I couldn't take part in the debate. So I couldn't tell him that Tony never would disrespect me or even quarrel with me. In fact, since my political activism, I've had 3 godfathers: Rawlings, Justice Annan himself, and General Kwenu. My godfathers. When Rawlings appointed me Deputy Minister of Defense, it was Justice Annan who convinced me to take the post because I was not interested.
Okay.
I told Rawlings that I don't want to be a minister. But he insisted. Oh, the men and officers at Benwakam, they want you, and so on and so forth. Justice Annan had to step in to convince me to take the post. Now, the reason why I'm narrating this is the haughty behavioral orientation of NPP politicians. The presentation that they know everything. And yet, like I said, when politicking is going on, the arguments are just sheer sophistry and petitio principii, escaping from the question, interposing lies to justify their actions, and passing the buck has been very characteristic of NPP politicians. They never accept that they are wrong. It's always the other side, the other person who is wrong, like Afenyo-Markin targeting the clerk of his committee, saying all kinds of things which the poor lady doesn't have a chance on the floor or cannot take part in the debate at the appointment committee to answer. That is not the expected behavior of a parliamentarian. You can't do that.